Join us live on the Sherry Lord Talk Show podcast. Start your day off with the Higher Vibrational Podcast with weekly guests covering spirituality, healthy foods, and so much more. Go to sherrylord.com for more info. Hi, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. We really love you. Please, if you want, please comment if you like. A lot of people like to just watch and view, but we'd like to hear from you. If you have a question, Stacy will answer it, or I. We would love to interact with you. And thank you for joining us. And we do have a very special guest, Stacey McCann, and she's an author. She's on a spiritual path. I mean, she's shake and mover. That's what she is. She's amazing. And by the way, if you want to be on our podcast, go to sherrylord.com and email me why you like to be on my podcast, and I'll email you back if you're a fit. Welcome, Stacy. Thank you for being on our show. We love having her. She is a regular, and we're all excited. She's got a new book that says Hug a Soul, or how does that go of your topic of your new book?
It's a hug for the soul, truth, tears, and WTF moments.
Yeah, I mean, you had other books too. You've been on our show, and you're a teacher, you're a speaker. I mean, you're on your path of evolution, and we love having you on our show. Can you explain to us, how did this book come about? What unfolded in your life to bring this book? We're going to bring it up for a minute so you guys can kind of see it. It is a really cool book, and I'm going to leave it up so people can see it.
Okay. Actually, what happened was I was experiencing burnout. I was, seeing clients do things and making videos and putting them up every day and getting like 2 likes. Spend an hour on a video, get 2 likes. I just got tired of trying to talk over other people because, for the most part, your average person doesn't know the difference between any kind of energy. And I don't mean that derogatorily. I mean that your average person who isn't in this field or isn't a seeker doesn't know the difference between, energy healing or Reiki or, quantum or hands, whatever, all these different kinds of things, being a psychic medium. They don't understand really the differences between this. And I just got tired of being drowned out and said, this isn't fun. I feel like I'm being too preachy, and I'm not a preachy person. That's not me. I'm a fun person.
Yeah.
So I said, well, what the heck, man? I got to figure this out. I'm just not enjoying myself. So what do I want to do that I enjoy? And I decided that whatever I do moving forward is going to be fun, fulfilling, and satisfying. And I thought about, well, what does everybody need? What does the world need? The world's so strange, And I thought, the world needs a hug. Everybody needs a hug. Like, who doesn't need a hug? It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what religion you are. It doesn't matter what politics you are. We all can relate to a hug. So we all kind of need a hug. And even deeper than that, it's not so much that we need a hug, our soul needs a hug.
Yeah.
So what does your soul need? Why does your soul need to be hugged? So that's how I started writing this book. Yeah, and I started writing it for you, or for the audience. I started writing it, and as I was writing, I started getting preachy again, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to I don't want this. And I just started thinking about my life, and I started writing about incidences that I thought were funny, or things that happened. Not that I even thought they were funny; they just were funny because I'm a funny person. And I realized that I wasn't really writing this book so much for the audience. I was writing it for me because I was the one that needed a hug for the soul. It was my soul that needed to be hugged. And in hugging my soul, it hugs your soul, because there's so many different scenarios that I put up there that people can relate to. Because life is weird. We go through all this crap in life. We're told how to be spiritual. We're taught how to be, not taught. We're definitely not taught how to be spiritual. You might seek and want to be spiritual, but we're not really taught how to deal with everyday life. And this is about everyday life. It's, just kind of real stories about real life, about sometimes life sucks. Sometimes you're in the parking lot crying because you don't know what else to do,
Yeah.
and how you can, the hurts that we experience, and just all the different things in life that we experience. And it's funny. Life is funny. People are funny.
Well, you're keeping it real. You're keeping it real.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really, really good. That's really,
Absolutely.
really good.
Absolutely. Because you know what? Nobody needs another self-help book. That's
Yeah.
my thought. Nobody needs another manual. And I've already done one of those. You know that my last book I've already pretty much did that, how to do this. Nobody needs it. Nobody wants to be told, no matter what you're doing. If you're overweight, you don't want to be told that you're overweight. You already know it. If you're a smoker, you don't want to be told stop smoking. You already know it. You don't need to be told what to do. To you just need the hug. You need to know that you are not the only person that's going through this. That you're not the only one that's experienced this kind of hurt, or this kind of pain, or this kind of whatever, or laughter. It isn't all about hurt and pain. Some of this is just stupid, excuse my Jersey, but some of it's just stupid shit. It's stupid stuff that made me laugh because I thought, how bizarre. I can't believe I did this. Just like, I was so dumb at one time that I did this, and it made me laugh. It's life. This is a book of life.
Well, laughter is very healing. Laughter, that's the soul loves the joy, the laughter, the fun. But when you laugh, you're just soaring and you're at peace and enjoying life in that particular moment.
Absolutely, and for anybody that's out there, if they're listening and they have this issue, one of the biggest obstacles that we have, as far as being, healers or spiritual people or whatever the case is really marrying the many components of us. And one thing with me is I have a very, very deep, profound side. That's true. You know that about me. I'm very spiritual and it's just,
Yeah. Yeah.
but there's a flip side of me that has a mind of a 12-year-old. I'm childlike. I like to have fun. I find everything funny. I find like nothing is sacred, but everything is sacred. I've been called the class clown. I've been the class clown. I've been all these different things. And for those of you that are familiar with the Native American culture, there's a position, or a person, a clown, that's called the Kashari. And the Kashari is the one that'll go in and break up all the heavy energy. So you could be in the middle of like, some real deep, profound stuff, and all of a sudden the clown comes in and breaks that pattern. So it's like a pattern breaker. I'm a pattern breaker. That's what I do. And or a disruptor. And for me, I had a heck of a time marrying these two parts of me, because I always that fear that if I'm just the silly one, people are only going to see me as being silly and they're not going to understand my depth. And then if I'm the depth, then all you're going to see is this person that's so stuck in the mud and, curmudgeon-y or whatever it is, just not fun. And I'm both. So this book is really the marriage. It's me finally saying, I'm not one or the other. This is me. Take it or leave it. Like it or don't like it. It's life.
It really is. And it is. But I think we're meant to have fun. I don't think everything needs to be so serious, I think you're missing life I believe the soul likes to soar. The soul likes to play. The soul loves to have fun,
I agree 100%. And how much that we take these things, take life much too seriously, like you had said. And of course, with me, I've got a few years on me. So it's a little easier to look back and see that, oh gosh, when you're 20 or you're 30 or you're 40, how you're chasing things and how it's so important. And it's the end of the world that something's going to happen. And you realize nothing is that important. There are some deep things in here. Even one excerpt I have, or one story, I should say, I have in this book is my son, one of my sons, my youngest son, he was in the backyard playing lacrosse with one of his friends, the kid who had lived in the street behind us. And you can see it. This is up north in New Jersey. So you could see through the backyards if you guys are, have those kind of backyards that don't have walls around them. But so he's out playing lacrosse with this kid, Brandon. And so, I didn't think anything of it. They're playing. Kids a year younger than him, no big deal. And the next day he comes in and my son comes in, he looks white as a ghost. I'm like, what's going on, Kev? What happened? And he's like, Mom, remember Brandon, who I was playing lacrosse with yesterday? I said, yeah. Well, he hung himself last night.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. What happened? Well, he asked some girl to the prom and she turned him down.
Oh.
But I'm saying these are real life stories. This is real life. This is what's really going on, and that nothing is so important. Nothing is so drastic. What you see through the eyes of a 16-year-old, you realize, this is one of many. This is one of many things that you'll be turned down about. This is one of many disappointments that you might have. It isn't the end of the world. Unfortunately for this young man, it was. But it just life. This is. That was more of a somber story in this book, but it just really kind of covers everything. There's, it's.
Wow.
We just need the hug. We just need.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, needed a hug. Sometimes there's really no words. It's just that I'm here. Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. I think this is an amazing book. How can people get a hold of your book?
Well, right now you could. You would have to pre-order it through me on my website, which right now is mindkeeping.com. It probably won't be out until December on Amazon, but it will be out in December on Amazon. I got a little bit way late.
I'll get that going on the bottom too. They'll have your email down there.
Yes. Yeah. So that's how you get it. But my suggestion to people, or what I would hope this book will do, is instead of asking what you need, what you want, or anything like that, start asking, like, what does your soul want?
Exactly. That's a good question for people.
Yeah, because it's not like, well, I want this, I want $1 million, I want that, I want this job, I want that job. That's great. You're chasing stuff, but what does your soul want? Because if you know what your soul wants, if you could just hug that soul, if you could just get in touch with that feeling or how that feels, or everything, that's going to put you on the right path for your life, no matter what it is. And it may not look like what you expect it to look like, but it's going to be the right thing, and you're going to feel good about it. You're going to feel happy about it. You're going to be fulfilled, satisfied. You have fun. It will check all the boxes off for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, because people need to understand that. I think you're giving great advice. Is there anything else you'd like to share with about your book, and any little peeks inside the book of some more experiences or anything else? Because that was good wisdom. That was good information for people to look at life a little bit differently.
Well, there's a lot of stuff in there, and the nice thing about this book too, which I'll share, is it's more like a gift book. It's a book like you pick up, you can turn to any page at any time, and you can get something out of it. You don't have to read it cover to cover. So it's something to take it into the bathroom. Go take it into the bathroom, whatever you want to do. There's so many snippets of wisdom and fun and laughter and relatable things that it really would make a great gift for anyone, because they're going to get something out of it. There isn't anyone I know that hasn't picked it up and looked at something and said, "Oh my God, I can so relate to that."
Yeah, they can relate to that. Definitely can relate to that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I tried to cover, the bases. I'll tell you, there are 5 chapters, and it's all about being human. And the first chapter is being ridiculously human. So it's kind of about all the ridiculousness things. So there's a lot of fun stories in that one. When I moved to chapter 2, it's about being seen. So it's being seen, kinda. Okay. So how we want to be seen, or how we project ourselves, or how we put ourselves out there to be seen. And sometimes we're lying to ourselves. Sometimes we're not really are doing what we're doing for the right reasons. And that's kind of
Right.
like, it's kind of like check yourself, see if you're doing what you really want to be doing or you're doing what you think you have to be doing. So that's a little bit different as well. The third chapter is about being hurt and still standing. So these are all the things, okay. So
Yeah.
these are all the things that cause us pain, that cause us shame, that cause us all these kind of things. And there's a lot of fun and interesting and stories in there as well. But how we survive them, like, it's just, again, when you can relate, they're laughable. When you can see that there's an upside, or there's humor, or there's a silver lining inside of this cloud, you realize that there's hope. You realize that you're not the only one. You realize that, oh, okay, I got this. I got this. Okay. And you don't have to suffer in silence. People don't share their stuff. They don't share how they feel because they're so fearful of being judged.
Yeah.
Especially now. God forbid you can't say anything. Oh my God. And I'm not a yes, you have to you I'm trying to say this the right way. Be yourself. That's it. Don't edit yourself. Don't edit yourself down to nothing. Don't be afraid to be yourself either, because if you have an opinion and your opinion is yours and it feels right to you and it isn't hurtful to others, then
they got to value your opinion just as value as anybody else's. They got to value their own,
Absolutely. And you know what they say, opinions are like, and everybody has an opinion, and it's like, what
absolutely.
Don't be fooled. Don't,
don't diminish your own. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. And don't let something interfere with your opinion, or don't let something interfere with a friendship. Don't let things come between friendship because someone feels this way or feels that way. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, you can go to a restaurant and it's like, you want chicken and I want beef. We're not going to fight over that. Okay. That's what you feel like. And I feel like this, there's no need to fight over it. It's okay to
exactly.
That's what you like. So be it, So these are just, some of the things that are in there. And the fourth chapter is about being split and letting go. And that's, like I was talking before, about being split between being this person and that person, or using this part of myself and not that part of myself, and letting go of these things. How do we let go of things, and how do we let go of belief systems that we have, or outdated thoughts and things? So all of this it's all in there. And then, of course, I am a teacher. I'll always be a teacher. So in the back, the last chapter is about being whole.
Yeah.
How to bring all this together and how to create that wholeness within yourself. How to make your soul feel hugged so that it feels safe enough to be itself. And stand on its own without any worry or fear or the challenges that we go through. So
it makes them feel like they're not alone and they're not the only ones experiencing something like that. And that hug is big, when you get that hug, it's really big. You tend to release things when you get hugged,
Absolutely.
you can let it out.
Or you see that you're not the only one, I mean, I have clients that, they come and they have these secrets that they keep for years and years. And then when those secrets come to light, they realize, oh my gosh, that wasn't so bad after all. I can let go of this and live my life. I don't have to let it define me. And it's a beautiful thing. So
absolutely.
It's
Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience too? Any other tips about life and, to go ahead and feel and to enjoy and be happy?
Absolutely. Don't take life so serious. Like I said, that's the main thing. It's, don't, ask yourself before you do anything, am I doing this for me or are you doing it for them? Know your motive. Know your motive for why you're operating. Know your motive. And recognize that even if you believe it or you don't, just take into consideration, hypothetically speaking, what if you were really creating your own reality. And if you are creating your own reality, if just say hypothetically that's true, because not everybody will believe that, what are you going to create? Are you going to create crap or are you going to create something good? So, another thing is don't be afraid to make a decision. People,
Right.
they get paralyzed. They're afraid of making a decision.
Yeah.
They're afraid of
Yeah.
making a mistake. Don't be afraid. If you make a decision and you don't like it, you can make another decision. That's it. They're endless. They're endless. That doesn't matter. You can keep going as many times as you want. So there's, you know, nothing to fear. We get in our own way. That's really the whole thing. Fear is just us not paying attention to what
It
our soul.
freezes you. Yeah. Fear will freeze you. You can't go left or right or make that right or a decision that you feel. Yeah.
That's true. But I also find the more you have communication with your soul, the more you ask yourself, hey, soul, what do you need? And you'll know what your soul needs because you'll be able to feel it. So
Right.
trust your feelings because your soul is going to speak to you through feelings. It's not going to talk to you. You're not going to hear that voice in your head necessarily, but it's going to be how you feel about something. So, so what do I need for this? Or how do I feel about this? Is this a good decision for me? Is this not a good decision for me? Am I, yes, and keep in mind when you make a decision that's something that you're not used to, it's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's going to feel a little like, you know, uh, jumbly or not
Yeah.
pins and needles, but like, butterflies in your stomach kind of feel. But ask yourself, is that just the fear of this new decision? Is this really where I should go and I'm just not used to this frequency yet? Or is it absolutely not the right decision? And you will know the difference. I mean, it isn't hard to figure it out. It just requires a little bit of paying attention to yourself.
Yeah. And I like the idea how you say to feel. I mean, most people won't. They just get in the head. But
Well,
it's important to feel.
well,
Absolutely.
and we get into this headspace about self care all the time. It's like, I need to do self care. Well, the biggest self care is spending 5 minutes alone with yourself.
Yeah. With
Not
yourself.
Yeah, not necessarily, getting a massage or going to a sound bath. Those are all great things. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. But the greatest self-care you can give yourself is asking yourself how you feel. Not even 5 minutes a day, 2 minutes a day. Go back to my other book. 2 minutes a day is all
Yeah.
you need, you know, to change your life. But if any person spent 2 minutes a day just asking themselves, what do I need? What does my soul need? How do I feel about this? That is the greatest self care that you can ever give yourself because that's going to take you so much further than anything else that you could be doing. And I'm not negating the other things, they're helpful, but they're not as intimate as you knowing you. And there's no greater
Yeah.
intimacy than that one.
It's good to check in.
Mhm.
It's good to check in and be true to yourself. A lot of people aren't true to themselves.
Well, they don't know how to be. It's like we're not
Yeah.
taught. I mean, we're conditioned right out of the
Yep.
gate. Do unto others. It's better to give than receive. That's crazy bullshit. It is not better
Yeah.
to give than receive because
Yeah.
you're if you're giving and not receiving, there's no balance in that. You have to have
Yeah.
balance. You have to give and receive. It's a balance thing.
Yeah. 'Cause people do have a hard time receiving.
They
Receiving is
do.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah, because again, we're taught not to. We're taught that we're not good enough, or
Yeah.
we're not worthy, or what if we make a mistake, or what if we're judged, or whatever. What would happen if you took that 2 minutes a day and you gave to yourself? You gave
Yeah.
yourself maybe the hug of
Yeah.
maybe the hug that your soul needs. Maybe just in that moment is maybe I just need compassion for myself. You know, maybe I just need to feel more courageous. Maybe I need to
Yeah.
uh, less shame.
Yeah.
That it's okay. I mean, shame is such a time waster. That one is so bad. We carry
Yeah.
so much shame, holy moly. And really, in the big picture, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
If people approach that, if they approach shame like it was a coloring book. Let's imagine, or you're drawing something on a piece of paper. You're drawing something. You're drawing a picture on a piece of paper. This is the incident. You just draw it, and then, if somebody looked at it, they might go, "Ooh, that's kind of a weird picture." But you can always draw another picture.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about that. Or you could rip that out and you can throw that one away, or you can erase it. There's nothing that says, it's just a picture. It's nothing more. That's all it is. It's the value that we put on it. We put a value on it, which makes it bigger than it is. So, as always, I probably got off the beaten path because but bottom line is, live life, have fun. We all have to work. We all have to make money. We all have to, navigate through this life. But as we're navigating, just do your best to enjoy it. Make shift your priorities a little bit. Hug your soul.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, and again, before we go, how can people get a copy of your book? I tell you don't want to miss this. You want that book. I'm going to be insane. I'm going to be over where she's at in her side of the world. I'm going to get I want a signed copy, and I'll buy that book. I tell you, I'm looking forward to reading it. And I tell you guys, I'll just enjoy this book. It's really going to shift your consciousness when you're reading it. You're going to relate to it, but you're also going to really get wisdom and the understanding of your own consciousness and how to shift it. I tell you, you really want to get this book. Again, how can they get a hold of you?
Mindkeeping.com, MINDKEEPING.com. They can always reach me there. They can pre-order the book there, or just shoot me an email at Stacy at mindkeeping.com.
Okay.
Like that. So STACEY at mindkeeping.com. Anything that anybody would want, it'll be there. I can answer any questions that anybody might have.
Oh, I think that's great. Will it eventually be on Amazon?
Yes, it'll be on Amazon by December. I had a few delays I wasn't quite expecting, but that's part of how life goes, right? So, yes, it will be on Amazon. When it's on Amazon, I will surely let you know. I will surely let everybody know. But in the meantime, if you kind of want to get a pre-order or ask any questions or anything. I mean, this is also a great holiday book, a great stuffer. It's one of those things, everybody will get something out of it. It doesn't matter who you are. You don't have to be a secret.
Oh, yeah. It sounds like such a good read. It's like, I can't wait to get my hands on it. Looking forward to reading that and enjoying it. But one thing my books from all the authors I get are signed. I have to have it personally signed by you.
I can do that.
Okay.
So when you come on up to St. Augustine, make sure that that's taken care of. So.
I will be. And I tell you what, I will also, you can go to our website too at www.sherrylord.com, Authors and Spirituality Podcast. We have our information there. And when she is on Amazon, I will post it under her name where her information is. I have her book there, and I also have her information there, just in case you missed it. But I will also list that it's now on Amazon, but I will also know you can get it from her directly, which is really awesome. Thank you so much, Stacy. We love having you on, and we will have you back. We definitely love having you, and you have such wisdom, and our audience just loves you as well. And make sure to like us and share our podcast on the Sherry Lord Podcast Talk Show. We're also on YouTube, all over Facebook as well. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a great day, everybody.
International psychic medium and podcast host Sherry Lord. She is one of the most sought after psychic mediums. Book your special readings. Go to www.sherrylord.com.